Okay. Great. Diego, so good to see you, man.
How are you,
Yeah,
my
excellent.
friends?
Wow.
Good to see you too.
Good to see you all around the world.
Yes, we met recently in Canada,
In Canada, in the Yukon.
Yukon,
Yeah.
and we had this panel together.
Yeah.
And you did a very beautiful introduction, facilitation.
Facilitation. Yeah.
Can you tell me about that? You've been doing this for how many countries?
Oh man, no, yeah. Many countries.
Many countries, yes. And you know, the first time I heard about you, let's start like this. It was when I just finished my fellowship. I went to Singapore. Actually, I was in the middle of my fellowship. I went to Singapore, and many people said, "You have to meet Scott Martin." Really? And then I saw this man, you know, coming out. That's him. And then when I heard you speaking in Yukon, I thought, I wish I could be like that. But you know, for me, I told you, I think, the easiest way for me to speak to the audience is playing the cello.
Yeah.
That's
right.
why I have the cello here.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's a pleasure. I mean it's an honor to both meet you, hear your work, the work you do, and then to be able to introduce you in that setting, and then know that we have similar things that we do using art. My background is in architecture, and yours in music, and so there's similar ways that we approach peace building using our different skills. We also have another thing in common with you were a student at Makerere. I had the pleasure of being able to teach at Makerere University, which is pretty cool. So we'll talk about that too. But first, there's someone I want to hear from, and it's your cello. And I wonder if your cello could say a few words about peace building just to get us started.
Okay, so thank you. I will play something that inspires me, right?
Okay.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know, Martin, when I think about music, I think many things. I think as an architect.
Mm-hmm.
So from that point of view, from that angle, I believe music is a sound that creates beautiful architecture in people's soul, in a way. How do you relate what you do as a mediator, and how do you see peace building art and mediation? How can you combine all this together?
Thank you. So, I mean, and a little bit of what you're doing, what I felt right now with you playing your music, right? So you're creating a resonance together. So now we're connected through this resonance. And in architecture, when it's done really well, what it does is it brings people together. You create a space that connects people. Also with my work, if someone said to me, you know, hey Martin, design this building or design this park, I couldn't. I would have to ask you questions about what's the environment, who's going to be using it. And so instinctually, even with architecture, with peace building, you have to get to know your audience. You get to know who are you serving, who are you working with. And so instead of being able to think, I can just do this thing in this space, you have to ask, you know, what does this space need? What are the people who are going to be using this space need? And so in that way, that being able to pair that skill set of being an architect and how do I design spaces for people, still is what I do to design spaces for people. I still use that same kind of curiosity and creativity in creating that environment.
And how do you, I mean, because I believe we work with people a lot, right?
Yeah.
But the way I speak to people is through feelings, right? I try hard to direct them because I also conduct, but I try to make a team of people working. But you do this very naturally. For me, it's not that natural, I think, I have to say. But I see the way you organize things, I see the way you conduct.
Yeah.
So you are sort of, I could say, as a metaphor, a conductor of peace, right? So how can you, any suggestions to become like this? Because I wish I could be more like that.
Yeah.
People trust you. You organize different teams. How many places you conduct? I mean, you have borders, right?
Yeah.
In boards in different places.
Totally.
In Malaysia, in Colombia. How do you do that?
Well, this word conductor actually is one of the words I use for facilitator, is that you are actually a conductor. And I remember I got to meet Gustavo Dodumel. And it was like, oh my God, you know, Maestro, you sounded so good. And he said, you know, this makes no sound.
Yeah.
It's what I do is help other people to find their own sound, and I help them to find their sound together, right? And so if you think of yourself as more of a conduit for others, how do they find their voice? And how do we find our voice together, right? So a lot of what you're doing when you're conducting, when you're thinking of composing music is, how do I create that space where people really can find their voice, where their instruments can find their voice? And then more importantly, how do we find that together? And as you know, what makes it look easy is not that you just show up and do it, is that you've showed up and done it for the last 15 years of your life, 20 years of your life. You know, you play every day. You know, all of those things are what makes it look easy. So when you're performing, that actually isn't the work. It's the 10,000 hours that went into you playing that is the work, right? And so it's doing that every day. And then also, as you are, I don't just show up and be a facilitator. It's a commitment to how I live my life. So I try to, from the moment I get up, is really embody that thing.
We spoke about that in Canada, about the spiritual life or the rituals or it's something that could touch a little bit, right?
Yeah, sure.
Can we share this?
Yeah, of course.
Maybe what is important for a peace builder to have in mind every day we wake up? I remember you saying something about questions you ask yourself in the mornings.
Yeah.
And all the stretch movements you do and the exercise. Well, I'm also doing. When I met you, I improved a lot this discipline.
Yeah, cool.
So it was something in tune. We are tuning to each other that way also. But anyway, what are the rituals? What are the steps we can do to become a better peace builder? Like, let's say, talking about lifestyle, spiritual life, or what's the most important?
I think the one you're referring to, we talked about, is like connecting to your breath. And then connecting to the idea that our life is just as long as our next breath. And so as soon as that's not happening, we're dead. And so in the morning, practicing that ritual of understanding that this next breath is not promised to me, but the fact that I get to have this next breath, I get to have this next day. What do I want to do with it? Not just what are the things I'm going to do, but who am I going to be in those situations? And then I finally ask the last question, how do I want today to be different than it was yesterday? And so that helps me to start in a way that, I'm taking care of myself, so that when I'm working with challenging populations, I don't get my value from the work I do. I get my value from me. And so I'm not asking anyone else to take care of me, but me.
Responsible for your life.
That way I get to show up for everyone else.
Yeah, so we need to conduct our lives, that's what I understood, in the way we would like to conduct our team by giving examples.
Yeah,
right?
Sure, sure. Leading by example.
Can we have some kind of philosophical question? For example, what is to perform peace? Because something is, I never asked this question. So something is to be a peace builder, right?
Right.
To study, to have science behind text information. But how? Now we went to something more, I think, deep, which is creating a lifestyle that creates ambience and somehow an example to people. So is this how can we perform peace?
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
No, this is perfect. And this we can tie back into the, our education. I went to Chulalongkorn, you went to Makerere University.
And you taught in Makerere?
And I taught in Makerere. But the program itself is not peace building. You're learning about peace from different experts, different people come, but that by itself is not peace building. What I find you learn is how do we interact with everybody else? How you interact with the other peace fellows in the program? How do you interact with outside the program? That's the peace building learning for me, is that you're given all these tools, and it's how do you apply those tools? And how do we internalize them in ourselves? That's the peace building element. So it's not just the going to school. Then it was like it's a donkey with books on its back.
Good, that's good.
But how you actually integrate those into your life, that's peace building.
So we spoke about conducts of peace, performing peace. And what I'd like to mention, and I think you probably heard me saying this in Canada, it's about we are instruments of peace. So we become an orchestra, right?
Yeah.
So, and you mentioned that something I say quite a lot also is that's the button that we don't make sounds. We empower people, we inspire people, right? So we have a very difficult world nowadays. I mean, the situation now has scaled in different directions that sometimes I ask myself how art can improve this. But can I share something with you? These
Sure.
4 elements, the ones I told you?
Yeah.
These days, I do these analogies, right? Using these 4 elements, music elements. One is in this order: sound, intonation, rhythm, and dynamics. I would love you to rephrase what I'm going to say, because you have a beautiful way of saying things. So, sound is the way we conduct our lives, the way we perform our sound, our essence. We work on that.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
So when I work, I resonate better.
Yep.
And then
Literally, you resonate.
And that actually creates leadership also,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
So, and then what you do to become a better leader and peace builder, I think, is you listen to people, you tune to people, intonation, you feel people's resonance.
Yep.
And then you then when we come to situations where we have different rhythms, we need to understand and integrate them, orchestrate, right?
Yeah, correct.
And then the next step in music, which I believe creates the magic in a melody, which I just played now, which is different melodies, different nuances in dynamics that touch people's heart.
Yeah.
This is called the dynamics. So dynamics for me would be something we overcome, a situation we overcome. So for example, if you have tension, we do. So we create, we resolve that.
Yeah.
And that it's a dynamic we need to work on.
Beautiful.
You understand? How can you using your work, how can you make analogy out of it?
I think what you're talking about, like I love this word attunement, right? You've attuned yourself to what something can sound like. When you can feel the resonance in yourself, then you can feel when it's out of alignment. And so, or would use the word out of integrity. Not in integrity in terms of do you do what you say, but are you in integrity with yourself? So that you know when a string is off. I know this is off inside of me, and then I have the compassion to know what might be off inside of you, right? Because I can hear it. I've attuned my ear to hear it. But if there's too much noise, then I can't hear myself, and then I certainly can't hear you, right?
Right.
And so then we have a chance to be able to attune to each other in that space. But it really comes back to, am I able to listen to myself, right? And does that free me up to be able to listen to you? So imagine if all the players in your orchestra couldn't even hear themselves play, right? Then it certainly can't be in tune with someone else. And so being able to find this inner resonance, this inner integrity with yourself, and so that's what we help people do. And so yes, we're working with a group, but really connecting each individual as well.
So
help them be in resonance with themselves.
You basically do in the practical thing what I just said.
Yeah, exactly.
And what I do with music.
Yeah.
So we complement each other, right?
Yeah.
I love that. It's great. Now, we have to find a way to. What are you think our functions in this life? You think? How, as Rotary Peace Fellows, what shall we do to improve this world? We are doing that.
Right.
But how? We never spoke about that. So, is there anything else we should do?
Yeah. It's about the world. We have a bigger world influence than most people, right? You get to travel the world. When you play your music, the audience, it doesn't matter what political background they have, right? And for that moment, the moment while you're playing, everyone can feel connected to each other. And so whether that lasts for 20 minutes, half an hour, or the rest of their lives, right? We get these moments of being able to feel connected to each other. And that's the anecdote of polarization, is like we separate ourselves from each other. That's conflict, is that I think of myself as different than you. But when you can feel the resonance between us, that's really what we help people do, is feel the reconnected. Reconciliation means to connect the circle again, that circle that connects between the two of us. And so as you play, this is your instrument for doing that. You have everyone in the room feels connected. When you get an orchestra going, they're all connected, right? So that's our different gifts being able to play out. And because you're a Peace Fellow, you get this larger and larger audience that you get to combine. People are inviting you, not just because you're a great musician, right? But because you have that ability to captivate an audience and to connect it to peace building in their regular world. So they don't just go back and go, oh, this is nice to hear. They think, how does this impact my daily life? How does this impact my family? How does this impact my community? How do I bring that back to my
inspires
community?
people to do something, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes I wish I could do. Leave a legacy or do something better than playing. But many people come to me. No, you touch my heart. This is already a lot. I have so many people, and I feel so grateful. So I'm very grateful also because I decided to go to Makerere and introduce sort of the cello and learn so much from my colleagues there and my friends. They're amazing people as a Rotary Peace Fellows.
Yeah.
And what you said about create unity, united for good with your music, what you said about create an orchestra, I think when I play in those conferences, people ask me to play the Let Me There Peace on Earth, and everybody sings with me.
Yeah.
I think you heard the other day. Did you? Where I played that?
Yeah.
Can I play?
Sure.
Do we have time still?
Yeah, we have half a minute left. Yeah.
Okay, I will play a little bit then.
Great. Yeah.
Good.
All right.
Good.
Wave goodbye. Yeah. Wave goodbye. Yeah. Goodbye.